You've been lied to. They told you pain was the enemy. They told you to run from it, hide from it, numb it. But they were wrong. Pain is your greatest teacher. And if you learn to face it, embrace it, you'll become something the world can't break. Pain is not punishment. Pain is the universe forcing you to grow. When you're broken, betrayed, abandoned, that's not the end. That's the forging of something unstoppable. Steel isn't born smooth. It's born in fire. Every setback you felt, that was training. Every person who walked away, that was preparation. You don't become strong by living soft. You become strong when the world throws punches and you get up swinging harder. Let me ask you, are you going to let that pain define you, or will you let it refine you? Weakness doesn't come from pain. Weakness comes from fear of pain. When you run from it, you become a slave. But when you stand still, when you feel every ounce of it, you gain control. Power isn't loud. It's quiet, disciplined, focused. It's built in silence, in lonely nights, in battles no one sees. Pain reveals who you are. But more importantly, it shows you who you could become. It unlocks a version of you that comfort never will. Every scar on your soul is a story, a badge, proof that you didn't give up, that you didn't die where others did. You rose, bleeding, but rising anyway. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be willing. Willing to keep going, willing to take one more step, willing to burn if it means you rise. Don't let your past own you. Use it. Sharpen your mind like a blade. Let the pain harden your will. Turn that heartbreak into hunger, that betrayal into balance, that suffering into strength. The storm isn't the end. It's the beginning of your rise, of your power, of your transformation. So stop asking why me. Start saying try me. Because the world won't hand you peace. You will have to fight for it. Through every scar, every tear, every moment you wanted to quit. Pain is your test. Power is your reward. Now rise and become unbreakable. Pain is a teacher, not a curse. You don't realize it when it first hits you. It feels unfair, cruel. Like life took a turn it shouldn't have. And in that moment, when you're on your knees, crying out for answers, it feels like everything is falling apart. Your chest is heavy. Your mind spins. Your heart wants to give up. But that moment, yes, that one you hate so much, is not your end. It's your education. Think about school. You didn't learn anything from a class where the answers were easy. You learned when you struggled, when you failed the test, rewrote the paper, stayed up at night trying to understand. The real lessons didn't come from comfort. They came from friction, from pressure, from the stretch. Pain is no different. It pushes you out of your illusion and into your evolution. You lose a job, and it feels like your world just collapsed. You feel useless, discarded. But that's when you start asking deeper questions. What do I really want? What am I meant to do? That's pain quietly guiding you, redirecting you, showing you what you wouldn't see in your comfort zone. Maybe it's the moment you start a business. Maybe it's when you learn to survive on your own. The loss hurts. But the lesson, if you pay attention, changes you forever. You go through heartbreak. Maybe someone you trusted shattered you. You feel hollow. It aches in a place even medicine can't touch. You want to rewind time. But pain, again, is trying to show you something. That your worth was never tied to their validation. That your peace was never supposed to depend on someone else's presence. And in the silence they left behind, You start hearing your own voice again, the one you forgot, the one you buried. You start building your self-respect, not because you want revenge, but because you finally see what you deserve. Pain didn't curse you. It woke you up. Watch a blacksmith forge a sword. The metal is useless at first, just a raw, ordinary slab. Then comes the heat, the hammer, the flame, and every strike hurts, but every strike also shapes, and over time, what was once a lump becomes a blade that can cut through anything. That's what pain does to your character. It refines you, and you're either going to run from that heat or walk through it and come out forged. People say they want growth. They say they want strength, but they avoid pain like it's poison. What they don't understand is the most powerful version of themselves is hiding behind the very things they're running from. You don't learn courage in comfort. You don't build endurance when life is easy. You don't discover how powerful you are until pain pushes you past your limits and makes you dig deeper than you ever have. Look at athletes. They train past exhaustion, muscles torn, lungs burning. Why? Because that pain is the signal that transformation is happening. They know each drop of sweat is progress. The same rule applies to your life. When you're uncomfortable, when you're hurting, when you're mentally exhausted, don't see it as suffering. See it as sharpening. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. There was once a guy who started with nothing. He got rejected from every job he applied to, slept on a friend's floor, even skipped meals just to survive. Pain greeted him every day. But instead of running, he used it. He studied more, trained harder, hustled longer. And years later, that same man owned the building he once begged to work in. Pain wasn't his prison. It was his fuel. Even in your everyday life, it's pain that teaches patience when you're stuck in traffic. Pain that teaches humility when you're proven wrong. Pain that teaches forgiveness when someone breaks your trust. Pain that teaches perseverance when you're trying to make something of yourself and nobody believes in you. Stop looking at pain like it's the villain. It doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to reveal the truth, to strip away the false identities, the illusions, the laziness. Pain is not here to make you suffer pointlessly. It's here to raise your standards, to show you that you are far stronger than the lies you tell yourself. Every pain you've ever survived is proof that you're still standing. And if you're still standing, that means the lesson is still alive inside you. So when pain knocks again, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is it trying to teach me this time? Because behind every ache, every loss, every heartbreak, there is a lesson written in fire. And those who learn from it don't just survive. They rise. They dominate. They become something the world never expected. Strength is born in discomfort. It's not something you find in the moments when everything is perfect. It's not something you unlock when life is going your way. Strength is forged when you are pushed to your limits, when the pain is unbearable, when you feel like every step forward is harder than the last. Strength rises from the struggle. It doesn't emerge from the ease of comfort. It grows from the depths of difficulty. Take a moment to think about the challenges you've faced in your own life. Maybe you've lost a job, or a relationship fell apart, or you felt abandoned by the people you trusted the most. When that happened, did you feel weak? Did you feel like you were falling apart, like you couldn't keep going? I'm here to tell you that those moments, the ones you hated so much, were actually the ones building your strength. When everything was falling apart, something was being built inside you. It was not weakness that you were experiencing, but the birth of your inner strength. It was discomfort. And discomfort is the birthplace of all growth. Think about a tree. It stands tall in the midst of harsh winds, torrential rains, and unforgiving storms. The tree doesn't grow when it's sheltered, protected, or in the comfort of a calm day. Its roots are strengthened and stretched when the winds push against it. The stronger the wind, the deeper the tree must dig to hold its ground. The tree becomes unshakable because of the discomfort it faces. It needs the storm to grow. And just like that tree, you need discomfort to grow. You need challenges to make you unbreakable. Now, think about your muscles. Every time you go to the gym, you lift weights, right? You don't get stronger by lifting light weights that are easy. You get stronger by lifting heavy weights, by pushing yourself beyond what's comfortable. Your muscles tear under the pressure. They break down. It's painful. But guess what happens? They rebuild, they grow, and they become stronger than before. Strength is born in the discomfort of that tear, the pain of pushing past the limits. And it's the same with your life. You don't become stronger by living a life of ease. You become stronger by facing your struggles head on, by enduring the pain, and by refusing to stay down when life knocks you down. Life doesn't always hand you comfort. It's not designed to make you comfortable. Think about an athlete training for a competition. They wake up at 5 a.m. to train. They push their bodies to the limit. They endure sweat, tears, and fatigue. Why? Because they know that strength doesn't come from the easy days. It comes from the days when they don't feel like showing up, when they want to quit, when the discomfort is almost unbearable. It's in those moments that they get better. It's in those moments that they build the strength to win. Look at the story of anyone who has ever achieved greatness. Think of someone like an entrepreneur who started with nothing. They worked late nights, dealt with failures, faced rejection after rejection. When the business failed for the first time, they had to face the reality of losing everything. When they were bankrupt, they had to pick themselves up. But they didn't stay down. They understood that discomfort was just the process of becoming stronger. They knew they had to keep going, no matter how hard it got. And today, they are sitting at the top, not because they were lucky, but because they embraced discomfort. They welcomed it. They understood that strength was born in those moments of struggle. And let's not forget the emotional side of discomfort. Maybe you've had your heart broken. Maybe someone you trusted betrayed you. The pain of that moment is like no other. It's raw. It stings. It feels like you'll never recover. But in reality, that pain is shaping you. It's teaching you resilience. It's teaching you that you can survive heartbreak and still rise stronger. After you heal, you carry a strength inside you that you didn't have before. That discomfort, that emotional agony, was necessary for your growth. It stretched your heart and mind, making you more compassionate, wiser, and stronger than you ever were before. So, if you're facing discomfort right now, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, remember that it's not an obstacle to your success. It's the path. It's the bridge that leads to the strength you desire. Every challenge, every obstacle, every hardship you face is a stepping stone that will make you stronger. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It's the fire that refines you. And just like a diamond doesn't shine without pressure, you won't shine without discomfort. If you're struggling right now, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're in the process of becoming powerful. It means you're being shaped, molded, and strengthened. Just like iron is forged in fire, your strength is being forged in your struggles. Don't run from discomfort. Embrace it. Face it. Use it. And when you come out on the other side, you'll be unrecognizable, stronger, better, unstoppable. Mastery of self is a journey that many of us overlook. We live in a world full of distractions, where we're constantly influenced by others, by circumstances, and by what society expects from us. But true power doesn't come from external sources. It doesn't come from the validation of others or the things we accumulate. Power comes from the mastery of self. It comes from the ability to control your mind, your emotions, and your actions, regardless of what the world throws your way. It's not about being perfect or invincible. It's about knowing yourself, owning your weaknesses, and turning them into strengths. Think about the most powerful people you know. Whether they are successful business owners, great leaders, or someone you personally admire, what stands out about them? It's not just their skills or knowledge that makes them stand apart. It's their ability to remain calm in chaos, to make decisions in the face of uncertainty, and to never let external circumstances dictate how they feel or behave. They've mastered the art of controlling their mind and emotions. They've learned that the real fight isn't out there in the world. It's in here, inside of us, where we decide how to respond to everything around us. Take a moment and think about your own life. How often do you find yourself reacting emotionally, making decisions based on impulse, or being overwhelmed by stress and anxiety? We all have those moments. We all have situations where our emotions control us. Whether it's anger, fear, or frustration, we let our feelings dictate our behavior. But the truth is, when you give in to those emotions, you lose control. You let the world dictate your life. And that's when things start to spiral. Now, imagine a different scenario. Imagine you can stay calm when someone insults you, when someone cuts you off in traffic, or when things aren't going the way you want. Imagine you can walk through life with a steady mind, regardless of what's happening around you. That's power. That's mastery of self. It's not about avoiding problems or pretending like everything is okay. It's about handling those challenges with grace, poise, and inner strength. It's about recognizing that no matter how chaotic the world gets, you control how you respond to it. Let's take the example of a person who's working towards their dream. Maybe they want to start a business, but everything seems to be going wrong. They get rejected, they face obstacles, and they begin to doubt themselves. The easy thing to do would be to quit, to let the fear of failure stop them. But the person who has mastered themselves, who has control over their emotions and thoughts, doesn't give in to those feelings. Instead of quitting, they use that fear as fuel. They recognize it as part of the journey. They don't let it define them. They turn it into motivation. And with every obstacle, they grow stronger, more focused, and more determined. Think about the way we respond to pain, both physical and emotional. When you break a bone or go through a difficult time in your life, it's easy to give in to the suffering. It's easy to let the pain consume you. But the person who has mastered their emotions understands that pain is temporary. They know it's a part of life. They recognize it as a challenge that they can overcome, not something that will define them. They focus on healing, on pushing through the discomfort, on using that pain to make them stronger. The most inspiring thing about people who have mastered themselves is their ability to stay grounded in the face of adversity. They don't get rattled by the ups and downs of life. They remain steady because they know their worth doesn't depend on their circumstances. They don't measure their success by what's happening outside of them. They measure it by their ability to remain true to their principles, to stay focused on their goals, and to keep pushing forward no matter what. This mastery of self doesn't come easy. It's not something you wake up with one day. It's something you cultivate over time through discipline, self-reflection, and constant effort. It's about learning to be aware of your thoughts, recognizing when your emotions are taking control, and taking a step back to reset. It's about learning to say no to the things that drain you, and yes to the things that serve your higher purpose. It's about taking responsibility for your own actions and understanding that you are the one who shapes your destiny. Look at the way top athletes train. They don't just work on their physical strength, they also train their minds. They know that their mental toughness is just as important as their physical endurance. When they face setbacks, they don't let doubt take over. They stay focused on the bigger picture. They recognize that every failure is a lesson, every setback is an opportunity to grow. And through this mindset, they continue to rise. They don't let external circumstances dictate their success. They control their mind, and in doing so, they control their future. It's the same with anyone who achieves greatness. They've learned to master themselves. They've learned to take control of their thoughts, their feelings, and their actions. They've stopped being victims of their circumstances and started being the creators of their own lives. That's true power. The ability to stay true to yourself, to keep moving forward with confidence, no matter what life throws at you. And the most powerful thing about mastering yourself is that it's available to everyone. It's not reserved for a select few. You don't need a special talent or a certain background to gain this power. All it takes is the willingness to take control of your mind, to take responsibility for your life, and to commit to the journey of self-mastery. When you master yourself, nothing and no one can hold you back. You become the master of your own fate. And that, my friend, is the real power. Every betrayal, failure, or loss is forging your inner weapon. Life doesn't hand you strength on a silver platter. It's not something that comes easily, or something that is given to you by fate. Strength, resilience, and power are forged in the fire of pain, loss, and betrayal. It's not a pleasant process, but it's a necessary one if you ever want to rise above the challenges of life. Think back to a time in your life when everything seemed to fall apart. Maybe it was a time when someone you trusted let you down in the most painful way. A friend, a partner, or a family member who you thought would always have your back suddenly turned their back on you. Maybe they betrayed your trust, lied to you, or did something that made you question everything you thought you knew about people. That betrayal hurt. It cut deep, and it made you question your own worth and the people around you. But in reality, that moment, as painful as it was, was the beginning of something much greater. It was the moment when you started to realize that your strength doesn't come from the people you trust, but from within. You started to understand that the world could take things from you, but it could never take away your power unless you let it. And then there's failure. We've all experienced it. Some of us have faced failure on a grand scale, where everything we worked for seemed to crumble in an instant. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that failure defines us, that it's the end of the road. But failure, just like betrayal, doesn't define you. It refines you. It's a harsh teacher, but it's also one of the most powerful tools for growth. When you fail, you don't just lose what you were striving for. You learn something invaluable about yourself. You discover what you're truly capable of when faced with adversity. You realize that your worth isn't tied to success, and your strength isn't found in victories. It's found in how you rise after you've fallen, how you get up, dust yourself off, and keep going despite the pain, despite the failure. Failure is not the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter. It's the chance to build something even stronger than before. Now, think about loss. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, a career, or something that held great meaning to you. Loss can feel like a void, an emptiness that nothing seems to fill. It's a devastating experience that makes you question why things happen the way they do. But loss, just like betrayal and failure, is an essential part of forging your inner weapon. It forces you to confront your vulnerabilities. It forces you to reevaluate what truly matters in your life. It teaches you the value of what you have, while also reminding you of the impermanence of everything. Loss doesn't just take things away from you. It teaches you how to stand tall without the things you once depended on. It shows you how to build a new foundation when the ground beneath you shifts. And in the end, it strengthens your resolve, your character, and your ability to face the world without fear. This is where the real magic happens. Every time life tries to knock you down, it's not just taking something from you. It's making you stronger, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever comes next. When you face betrayal, you learn not to trust blindly. You learn to trust your instincts, to guard your heart, and to protect your peace. When you experience failure, you realize that you don't need to be perfect to succeed. You learn that it's okay to fall. It's okay to make mistakes. The most important thing is that you get back up and keep moving forward. And when you experience loss, you understand the importance of cherishing what you have while it's still there. You learn how to rebuild, how to heal, and how to move on with more wisdom than before. Think about the greatest leaders, the most successful individuals, and the most powerful people throughout history. Their lives were not without struggles. They faced betrayal, failure, and loss. They suffered setbacks that would have defeated most people. But they didn't let those experiences break them. They allowed those experiences to shape them. They became stronger, more determined, and more focused. Every betrayal made them wiser. Every failure made them more resilient. Every loss made them more compassionate. They understood that these painful experiences were not their downfall. They were the fire that forged their greatness. And you, too, can use these experiences to forge your own inner weapon. When you face betrayal, failure, or loss, don't see them as roadblocks. See them as opportunities to grow. Use them to build your resilience, your strength, and your character. Turn the pain into fuel. Let it propel you forward, not hold you back. Remember that every time life knocks you down, it's just a chance for you to rise up stronger than before. Your power doesn't come from what you've lost or the battles you've fought. It comes from how you choose to react to those experiences. How you choose to learn from them, grow from them, and become more unstoppable with each passing day. Life doesn't owe you comfort, and it doesn't promise you an easy ride. But it does give you the chance to become something greater than you ever imagined. Every betrayal, every failure, every loss is shaping you into the person you're meant to be. It's forging your inner weapon, your strength, your resilience. And when you finally realize this, when you understand that every setback is a setup for your comeback, you'll see that nothing in this world can break you. Because you've already been forged in the fires of life. You might look at the scars on your body or in your soul, and feel a sense of regret or sorrow. Maybe you think those scars are marks of weakness, reminders of times you wish you could forget. But let me tell you something powerful. Those scars are not signs of your fragility. They are your armor, forged through fire, pain, and adversity. Every scar tells a story. Every scar represents a battle you've fought and survived. And those scars, whether physical or emotional, are what make you stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than ever before. Think about the times when you've been hurt, betrayed, or knocked down. Those moments weren't easy. They shook you to your core. You questioned your worth, your strength, your ability to move forward. The pain felt unbearable, and it made you wonder if you'd ever be the same again. But here's the truth. You weren't meant to stay the same. You were meant to evolve. Every hardship, every painful experience was part of a process that was shaping you into something greater. And every scar you carry now is a symbol of that transformation. It's proof that you've been tested and you've emerged stronger, more resilient, and more equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Take a moment and reflect on your life. Look at the challenges you've faced, the losses you've endured, the heartbreaks, the failures. It's easy to let those experiences define you in a negative light. It's easy to look at your scars and think that they are marks of your suffering. But think about it this way. Each one of those scars represents a lesson you've learned, a strength you've discovered, a part of you that has been forged in the fire. The pain you've endured wasn't in vain. It's been building your resilience, your character, and your ability to face anything life throws your way. Life is tough. No one escapes it unscathed. We all face challenges, obstacles, and moments that test our will. But here's the secret. It's not the challenges that define us. It's how we rise from them. It's how we turn those painful experiences into something powerful. And the way we do that is by embracing our scars. We stop hiding them. Stop pretending they don't exist and start seeing them for what they truly are, our armor. Just like a soldier wears his battle wounds with pride, you should wear your scars with the same pride. They are the proof that you've faced the fight, and you're still standing. Let's talk about the scar of failure. We all experience it at some point in our lives. We put everything into something, a project, a dream, a goal, and we fail. We feel defeated, humiliated, like we've lost it all. But that failure, that's just a scar waiting to be embraced. because failure teaches us more than success ever will. Failure shows us what doesn't work, what needs to change, and where we need to grow. When you embrace that failure as a scar, it becomes your greatest teacher. It's not something to be ashamed of, it's something to be proud of, because you didn't let failure stop you. You got back up, you learned from it, and you kept moving forward. That failure is now part of your armor, strengthening you for the next challenge. And then there's the scar of betrayal. We've all had someone let us down, someone we trusted, someone we believed in, someone who promised to have our back. When that betrayal happens, it cuts deep. It shakes the foundation of who you are, and it makes you question your judgment, your worth, and your ability to trust again. But here's the thing about betrayal: it doesn't define you. It's just another scar. And once you embrace it, once you stop letting it hold you back, you realize it made you stronger. It taught you to be more discerning, to trust yourself more, and to never settle for less than what you deserve. That scar of betrayal is your armor, protecting you from future deception and making you wiser in the process. And let's not forget the scar of loss. We all experience it at some point. Losing someone we love, losing a dream, losing a piece of ourselves that we can never get back. Loss is painful. It's a wound that doesn't heal quickly. But what if we viewed that loss differently? What if we saw it as a scar that shows we've loved deeply, that we've given of ourselves fully, and that we've experienced something beautiful, even if it was fleeting? The scar of loss doesn't make you weak. It shows that you were strong enough to love, strong enough to care, and strong enough to move forward, even when everything inside of you wanted to stop. That scar is your armor, a reminder of your capacity to love and live with intensity, even when it hurts. And in all of this, the key is to stop running from the pain. Stop hiding the scars, stop pretending they don't exist, and stop letting them define you in a negative light. Instead, stand tall and wear your scars with pride. They are the marks of your survival. They are the proof that you've faced the storms of life and come out stronger. They are your armor, and when you learn to embrace them, when you learn to see the power they've given you, you will be unstoppable. Life will continue to throw challenges your way, and you will continue to collect scars. But with every scar you earn, you will also gain more strength. You will become more resilient, more focused, and more determined. Your scars are not signs of your weakness. They are the testimony of your strength. They are the marks of a warrior, a survivor, and a person who has faced life's battles and emerged victorious. So don't hide them. Wear them with pride. They are the armor that will carry you through whatever comes next. Growth is not something that happens by accident. It's not something that you stumble into while living a life of comfort and ease. Growth is something that demands sacrifice, and in that sacrifice, there's a burning. There's a fire that has to be endured, a process of shedding what no longer serves you. And this burning, this painful process, is exactly what makes you stronger, better, and more capable of achieving greatness. Think about a seed. When a seed is planted in the ground, it's buried beneath the soil in darkness. It's a fragile thing, full of potential, but it's surrounded by dirt, moisture, and pressure. The seed can't remain in the comfort of its shell if it wants to grow. It has to break open. It has to burn through its outer layers, crack through the shell, and push against the weight of the earth just to reach the surface. This process isn't easy. It's painful. It's the seed burning through the barriers that once protected it. But in doing so, it rises to become something far greater. It rises to become a plant, a tree, a living thing that provides beauty, nourishment, and strength. Your growth works the same way. You can't stay in the comfort of your old ways and expect to evolve. To grow, you need to be willing to shed the parts of you that are no longer useful. This could be the habits you've formed, the relationships you've held on to, the mindset you've embraced. All of these things, as comfortable as they may be, are the shells that hold you back. The painful truth is that you have to burn through them to become who you're meant to be. And this burning, this sacrifice, can feel like the end of everything you've known. But it's not the end. It's just the beginning of something far greater. Let's look at a real life example. Think about someone who decides to change their lifestyle, to get fit and healthy. They may have been used to eating whatever they wanted, living a sedentary life, and relying on unhealthy habits to get by. But in order to transform, they have to sacrifice the comfort of their old ways. They have to burn through the temptation of unhealthy food, the ease of sitting on the couch, and the pleasure of instant gratification. It's not easy. The process of waking up early to exercise, preparing healthy meals, and pushing through the discomfort of change can feel like a constant battle. But that's the burning. It's the sacrifice. And with time, they start to see results. They feel stronger, more energetic, and more confident. Their body and mind transform into something new, something more powerful. The burning is painful, but it's the very thing that made them who they are now. Or consider the story of someone who's trying to start a business. At first, they may have the dream of financial freedom, the idea of working for themselves, of creating something that will impact the world. But they quickly realize that starting a business demands a level of sacrifice that most people are unwilling to make. They have to give up time with their family, their social life, and the comfort of a regular paycheck. They have to invest hours, sometimes sleepless nights, and pour their energy into something uncertain, with no guarantee of success. This is the burning. It's the fire that refines their character, the pressure that forges their resilience. But over time, that sacrifice starts to pay off. The business begins to grow. They see the fruit of their labor, and they realize that the pain of the burning was necessary to achieve what they now have. Then think about someone who's going through personal hardship. Maybe they've lost a loved one, experienced a broken relationship, or gone through financial ruin. The pain of these losses can feel overwhelming. It can feel like the world is falling apart, like they'll never be able to move forward. But here's the thing, in the midst of the pain, there is potential for growth. They have to make the sacrifice of letting go of what was, of grieving and healing, and of burning through the hurt that wants to hold them back. It's not an easy process. It's long and messy. And it often feels like progress is impossible. But as they push through the burning, they start to emerge on the other side. They find strength they didn't know they had. They find resilience. They find peace. The pain becomes a catalyst for their transformation. It's the sacrifice of their old life, their old identity, that allows them to step into a new version of themselves. Growth demands sacrifice, And that sacrifice often comes in the form of discomfort. It's the discomfort of change, of giving up what you know for something better. It's the discomfort of facing your fears, of confronting your weaknesses, and of pushing yourself beyond your limits. But the reality is, you can't have growth without it. If you want to reach the next level of your potential, you have to be willing to burn. You have to be willing to burn through the old habits, the old mindsets, the old limitations that hold you back. It's not easy. It's not quick. But it's necessary. And when you come out on the other side, you'll be stronger, more resilient, and more capable than you ever imagined. The burning isn't the end. It's the beginning of your transformation. You see, in the end, it's not the moments of comfort that define you, but the times when you stood tall in the face of adversity. The days when everything seemed impossible, and you still kept moving forward. Those are the moments that shape your destiny, that mold you into the person you are becoming. When life tests you, it's not to break you, it's to build you. It's to challenge you to rise above, to push beyond what you thought was possible, and to turn every ounce of pain into the fuel that propels you forward. Remember, this success is not a destination, it's a journey. It's a series of steps, some easy, some hard, but all essential. Every failure, every disappointment, every setback is just a chapter in the story of your triumph. You are not defined by what happens to you, but by how you respond to it. You are not defined by the things that knock you down, but by the strength you find within yourself to get back up, again and again. The true measure of your character is how you rise after every fall, how you find the courage to keep going when everything around you says to quit. Don't stop when you're tired, stop when you're done. Those words aren't just a slogan, they're a way of life. Your dreams are not supposed to come easily. They are meant to challenge you, to push you to be better, to make you work for them. But that's exactly why they're worth having. The pain you face today will be the strength you carry tomorrow. The struggles you endure will be the stories you tell one day, not of defeat, but of triumph. The only way to do great work is to love what you do, Steve Jobs once said. And, in those moments when you feel like giving up, when you feel like the world is too heavy to carry, it's that passion, that love, that will carry you through. When you embrace the process, when you understand that the hardships you face are only part of the journey, you'll start to see the beauty in the struggle. You'll start to realize that every sacrifice, every late night, every ounce of effort is all taking you closer to something extraordinary. There's no shortcut to greatness. You can't simply wish for success. You can't dream it into existence. But you can create it by showing up, by doing the work, by embracing the hard times, by pushing through the pain. Greatness is not handed to you on a silver platter. It's earned through persistence, resilience, and the belief that you are capable of more than you could ever imagine. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because it may never come. Start right where you are. Use what you have and keep moving forward. It's easy to be overwhelmed by the mountain in front of you, to feel as if the journey is too long, too difficult, too uncertain. But remember, every journey begins with a single step. Every dream is realized one action at a time. It's the small, consistent steps, the choices you make every day, that build the life you want. And when you look back, you'll realize it wasn't the big, dramatic moments that made you who you are, but the countless small, persistent actions you took in the face of doubt, fear, and failure. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Those words from Wayne Gretzky ring true in every aspect of life. If you don't step out, if you don't take the shot, you'll never know what you're capable of. Fear will always be there. Doubt will always try to creep in. But if you silence them and take that first step, you will find the strength you need to keep going. As you move forward, remember this: your scars, your failures, your setbacks are not marks of weakness. They are the proof of your strength, your resilience, and your courage. They are what will carry you through the hardest times. They are the proof that you've been through the fire and come out stronger on the other side. So wear them proudly, because they tell the world who you are and what you're capable of. Believe in yourself, keep moving forward, and understand that every challenge is just an opportunity to grow. Greatness is waiting for you, and it's all within your reach. The only question is, are you ready to take that first step? Are you ready to turn your pain into power, your struggles into strength, and your dreams into reality? Because if you are, nothing can stop you.